Welcome, hello, Yasu and hi. My name is Tai Kölner, and today's video is about sacrifices. What is a perfect sacrifice? And what is a sacrifice? What it is good for, and what what is the value of a sacrifice? So that's what I want to get into today. And yeah, to those who don't know me yet, my name is Tai Kölner. I'm an author, I'm a black magician, I'm a student of the draconian Order Dragon Rouge, and I'm a left-hand path practitioner. Also, I'm an empath, so sacrifices are part of my business, but not only of my business. I would go that far to say of everybody's business. So this is what I want to tell about today, and make sure to subscribe the channel as well if you want to stay updated. So let's get into. There are different kinds of sacrifices, and when I say there is a sacrifice, first people think is about rituals, about religions, and that's right. As for Catholic Church, you got the incense, the resins. As for old grimoires, there are mentioned some sacrifices. I will get to that later. But also, everybody does sacrifice every day. And why do we do so? We do because to please a god, an entity, and it is a kind of an exchange for something we want to get, what we want to develop, or what we want to make sure. So, as for example, in the church, people are eating the bread as for the sacrifice of Jesus to the people believing into him. But on the other side, the the incenses are a giving to this God. So that's a highly ritualistic behavior. And when you go for rituals in a spiritual or magical way, you got certain entities. And so they are connected to special scents or things they like. And it got a bad name about. It got a bad name about because two reasons. One reason is bad naming, simple as it is, because the church can only keep its standards if it says this is bad and we are good. And so because this is bad, they do eat children, they grill chicken and whatever. This is a bad spelling. And a bad spelling we find everywhere. It doesn't matter if you look in history about, those who are winning the battle are the one who is telling the story. And the same was about the churches. So if you read a grimoire and you find some hints about what to do to call an entity, read it. But read it with a little pinch of salt, so to say, not switch up off your brain, because some things are just bad talking. On the other side, especially when it comes to pacts, a sacrifice might be some sexual fluids or blood or something like this, but you don't have to go that far. As mentioned, everyone does sacrifice every day. You're sacrificing lifetime to be with people you like, to do a job you probably don't like, or you like it. So you're sacrificing your life to a certain thing you want to do. Also, you're sacrificing for a parship. For example, if you got kids, yes, it is a blessing to see them rising, to see them growing up. But on the other side, you have to spend money, you have to be there, you have to be present, you have to give them something to eat and dress and whatever. You are focused on this new living. So you have to sacrifice parts of yourself. And even if you have no kids and if it is just a parship, you have to sacrifice sometimes behaviors which are a deeply part of you, but which could confuse that parship. And if it is that much worth to you to keep it up, you will make sure to sacrifice these desires or wishes or whatever. So this is when we sacrifice in parships. But others are also sacrificing in fame. So to be prominent, to be, you know, king of the Viva show, as we said in the 90s, they sacrifice everything: identity, look, style, talking. They sacrifice their personality to fit that picture, what bombs the market and gives a billion or a prominence. So that's when people sacrifice themselves to a goal. But also in believing systems in total, they are sacrificing, not just in the ritualistic way, as I said, at the Catholic Church, but also in a way that they exclude other people. And as for my opinion, this is already a sacrificing, because we can learn from everyone. If it is a good example or bad example, but we can learn from everyone. So if I join a religion and I say we are the chosen one and everyone else is just crap, then I cut myself from communication, from mind exchange, from checking my perspective. So I cut myself on evolution. In that case, I even sacrificed my evolution when joining such a religion, which is isolating from other people. So we all do sacrifice every day, in a small amount or a big amount, but we all sacrifice life force. We dedicate hours to get money, to spend money on things which are in the end just allowing us to live a few years longer by eating healthy stuff or whatever, or paying the rent. So sacrifices, daily business. So, okay, but now there is another thing what is about sacrifices in rituals. I mean, when you got a job, for example, you go there and either you're qualified or not, and so you get the job or not, and so you will spend your lifetime there earning the money or not. In a ritual, it's a little more complex. You should make sure that your sacrifice is worth your intent, because you want something from the other one. Okay, you could say, if I want to get paid, I have to show up at work and do my best. So basically, it is again the same if you do a ritual. If you got an entity and you say, okay, help me out by teaching my astral senses, help me out by learning about music, and learning about astrology, learning about beyond matter business, learning about past, past lives or future, whatever you want from these entities, and even if it is just boring money, you have to offer something to the other one, because nothing in life is for free. So, what is a worthy sacrifice? So, in all the grimoires, you find this stuff about offering a baby, offering blood, offering whatever. Um, I cannot dig that deep into. I just give the sentence and I will tell it's not from me, but it really impacted my way of thinking about ritualistic sacrifices. Once a very high esteemed brother said, if you really want to do a ritual, if you really want to do a sacrifice, you get all the money you got, take it from the bank, buy the car you always wanted to get, park it on a free space, and then set it on fire. That's a sacrifice. Because if you buy a chicken and you kill it, or if you harm any people around you as a sacrifice, then it is still not you sacrificing. You're sacrificing something, but not you. Because you did not give birth to. You did not give birth to the chicken or the kid or whatever. So that's bullshit. A true sacrifice is something you give away from yourself. And the more it hurts, the deeper the sacrifice is. And we can start on a simple way. You can do a simple incense ritual, and there you just use the incenses given to the purpose you want to do. You can do scriptures. You can open books and look what is mentioned for a good incense. And then you go and you buy some good quality stuff. Not just the last crap you find on the market. You buy good quality stuff. And so you can burn resin. You can burn plants you did harvest yourself and dry and cut into pieces to make good incense. But it has to have a personal value to yourself, either in money or in work. So another thing is you can offer blood, but this is something I would only do on very special occasions, same as about sexual fluids, because this is a part of your energy you're offering. So whatever from your body you're offering, it is a part of your own existence you're offering. So there must be a very good reason to do so. So it's not on a daily basis offering. Another thing is you can, for example, you can do sports. I don't mean a ritual. I mean in case to dedicate it to sacrifice for your path. You can do sports in an exhausting way. Or you can have a nice sex in an exhausting way. And as you push it into this excitement, into this exhausting, and then into this high peak of climax, you send exactly this wave to this deity or demon or propose. It might be even healing of you, yourself or the other one. So this is what you do. When it comes to exhausting in sports, it's probably you know it. If you did do power sports, you're very done in the first moment. But give it half an hour later and you're full in power. And this you dedicate into your musical art, into your arts in total, or into writings or whatever. But you put it into a creative process. And this creative process is what you're pushing with this work. So the sacrifices, the sports, and the art is the presence you want to give out. So another point is you could stop smoking. You could change your behaviors. You can give away beloved behaviors. So, for example, you like strawberry ice. You know it's bad for your figure and you know it's bullshit because you just like it because you grew up with. But in sacrificing for your own evolution, You might decide to say, okay, I don't eat strawberry ice anymore. I don't even eat ice anymore. That's a decision you do, and you know that every time when you walk by and you smell it and you see it, you think, I want one of that. But you don't do it, because that is the point of the sacrifice, to control yourself to not to do that. So also you can offer security. For example, when we went to Norway back then, we did cut down everything here and we moved up there with just one car of stuff. It can work, it can go wrong, but this risk in saying I do it, this is the sacrificing of security, to say I break down the bridges and I start over. This can be a very, very high trigger of evolution, same as if you cut behaviors or if you sacrifice things you really like to do. Sometimes it can even be love. So if you find out that you're at the wrong place, let's say it that way, and you say you cut it down, everything in your life will change. And this changing is caused by your sacrifice, and this changing will kick free a new evolution, a new direction on your life. It will be very painful, and this is another thing. There are entities who like this kind of energies, because this fighting through your own pain and getting conscious about the reasons why you feel this or that way, this is what they really want to see you growing on. Not the pain, but the way of how you challenge this. So, and of course, sleep. You can sacrifice sleep. So if you're dedicated to something and you really want to manifest it and you want to break it free into being, then probably you got weeks of only 3 hours, 4 hours sleep, because you're busy doing daytime and you're busy doing nighttime. So, but somehow it works because there is a benefit rolling back. So that's about sacrifices in a basic thing. Um, yeah, when you contact an entity, that is another thing. You can take books and you can read up what is announced to use for a ritual. This is a pretty good starter, because that's a rituals which are checked and proven and done by coven circles, whatever. Um, So these rituals are given from generation to generation, so to say. But if you are a little more cheeky, a little more autodidact in that way, you could do something else. You could do a meditation, focus to that entity and trying to contact. To those who are skilled in telepathic gifts, etc., that's an easy task. So also you could use DreamWorks. You could write down the name of the entity you're contacting, and you read it up before you get to sleep, and then you read up about this entity, and then you get into your sleep and you're calling for this entity, but in a distance. You're not getting into contact like you would do in an invocation. You're calling from a distance, and you're asking what would you like to get? What would be something you want from me for this wish I got? So that's a point you can try, because I did find out that sometimes it is nice to use jasmine, for example, when you do a Lilith invocation. But I did find out there are some more incenses she prefers me to do for her. And funny enough, there are ingredients that are not mentioned in a book, but if I mix them the way I did, she is very pleased about. So, to put it in my words, you don't like to eat cherries every day. So probably ask this entity what he or she or it is wanting to get from you. The most marker on sacrifices is it has to be something what is not easy peasy casting on the table. It has to be something what is causing you to do work on it, or what is a part of you, or what demands you to spend money on which you are hardworking for. So a sacrifice always has to be something with you, not with other ones. This being said, just a little mind food about sacrifices. It is not about going from book. It is not about just being bloody and being dark and whatever. No, it is the intent deep out of yourself, and you are the one giving the value to the giving, to the sacrifice you do. And probably you should think about this in your daily life as well. When you're sacrificing your time, when you're sacrificing your desires, when you're sacrificing your things to people around you. So this for today. Have a nice one. Thank you for listening and talking next time.